Welcome, friends, once again to Investment Immigration Conversations. I'm your host, Carolyn Lee, principal and founder of Carolyn Lee PLLC, a U.S. investment immigration law firm dedicated to helping clients build their futures with, you guessed it, investment immigration. What else? Today, I'm very, very pleased to have a special guest from Mumbai, India, Mehta, who is a principal of FRR Immigration, and I'll tell you a little bit more about him. He is someone I've known in this space for quite some time, whose career trajectory I've followed. And he's just a rising star with so much depth of knowledge and insight and heart in this space, and that I'm thrilled to introduce you. Jay, welcome.
Thank you, Carolyn, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today.
Goodness, well, I must say a little bit more about you. Jay is and I'm reading now. I want to get this right. Jay's the director at FRR Immigration. He has been an integral part of FRR Group since 2014. Holding a bachelor's degree in marketing and management and an MBA in marketing from Bentley University, thank you very much, in Boston, Jay initially contributed to FRR by serving a diverse clientele in India's capital markets. In 2016, he played a pivotal role in establishing FRR Immigration, leading the investment by immigration division. See, this is where our paths cross division. Jay has successfully raised over USD 50 million, excuse me, that's a big number, across various programs servicing over 120 families across multiple nationalities. And congratulations, Jay, all of your hard work and achievements have been recognized by U Global, naming you among the top 25 global migration agency CEOs.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Carolyn. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I'm inviting Jay to speak with us today on tech and EB-5 because I came across recently a piece that he wrote on LinkedIn. Do look him up on LinkedIn. He's very active there. And I thought tech and investment immigration, this is a conversation that we have not yet had, and we need to.
Absolutely.
So Jay, artificial intelligence, technology innovations, changing everything and so quickly. How has it come into, or has it not yet come into, investment immigration broadly? And then let's kind of drill down to how it's affecting or not yet affecting EB-5. What do you think?
So, Carolyn, to be honest, I don't think it has really seeped into the processing of investment immigration yet. I do believe there are active conversations that we've seen where governments may, or government bodies may introduce this technology into their application processing, into due diligence processing. And that will really change the world of investment immigration, and not only investment immigration, but any type of immigration that one is looking at, whether it's family-based or employment-based. I think it will really change the game in terms of timelines reducing, in terms of a lot more due diligence being done on projects, not only from the government bodies, but as well as attorneys like yourself, agents like us, as well as regional centers like we have in the US. There will be a lot more due diligence being done on these projects, hence leading to safety of investors' capital.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Artificial intelligence and automation is helping us do the things that we do better and more quickly. And of course, the backlogs in immigration are crushing. So of course, this doesn't address the issue of quotas, the limited supply, but artificial intelligence does have the promise of helping us move more quickly through that backlog by faster processing. That's what you're saying, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And even with, we've seen earlier, at least in the EB-5 program, we used to see adjudicators process the same project with each and every application in the 526. And I believe in the new change, they're just going to process the project documents once and kind of put a tag to it that, this project is approved, so they don't have to relook at the documents with each and every investor that goes in. AI and technology can definitely help with this. And that's what makes processing quicker.
Totally. And what strikes me about that innovation, and let's call it innovation, it's a change that came down in EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act of 2022, or RIA. And it was socialized and discussed among advocacy groups and USCIS leadership for many years before RIA's passage. But the simple solution that what you're just talking about proposed is, okay, so we used to have a big, huge filing that every EB-5 investor would file. It would be half the project documents, hundreds of pages, and the other half would be the investor source of funds documents, also hundreds of pages. And the project documents were just the same, set over and over and over again for every investor in that project. Well, we don't have to under the RIA. That project part is separately filed for and adjudicated, and the EB-5 investor source of funds files only are left to be adjudicated. And so it's very simple, but it's an innovation that's really helped streamline, or it should help streamline.
Absolutely. And that's just one example, right? With advanced technology like AI, we can do so much more.
What do you think we can do and ethically do, right? Because that's the balance. It's so important.
I always believe AI can help one become organized, and that in a way saves a lot of time.
How so? What do you
Believe,
mean by organization?
in terms of putting in a certain criteria into the software that every project must meet, every investor must meet, every 800,000 that goes in must meet. And technology simply does a check for you, right? It's not replacing a human job, because a human would still have to supervise this, but it's making it much quicker. And I really believe technology can really make application processing time much quicker. And I think that's a real benefit to investors that are investing their hard-earned money for a certain number of years, right? For up to 5 years.
Absolutely. And in terms of the organization and the human element, I agree with you there too, because it's the tool. The tool helps us do what we would do more accurately and faster. But it takes the human to build the tool that will do that job accurately. And then it takes the human to do the checking afterwards. So it's like the human is in the very beginning, and then we let the machine do its thing. And then the human has to be kind of at the bookend, at the end of it as well, checking that product.
Just like a maker checker.
Just like a what?
Maker checker?
What's that?
So we usually use that term for a new set of eyes to look at the application, or a double checker, right? Someone that checks it again for any
proofreader.
Proofreader. That's right.
Yes, exactly. What do you think can not be replaced by technology in investment immigration and EB-5?
Well, I think from a security angle, from a safety angle, more from a security and due diligence angle, I think that input needs to be put in by an individual, whether it's an attorney, whether it's a regional center, or even an agent, or even an individual investor. You can only set certain criteria, but anything out of the box that one needs to analyze, that may not be available on technology. And that's something that someone would have to use their human mind and expertise to evaluate. So
in that respect, tell us about what FRR Immigration does. This is the perfect segue, because I want our folks to know about what you do.
Great. So in terms of us, we're a pretty conservative firm here based in India. We have about 11 of us on our team that work with investment immigration. There's always someone that goes to each and every country, each and every project within that country to have our own little vetting process, right? It may not be 100% for everyone, but we do the most that we can. We go down to these countries, as you've seen before, and we've met as well, where we verify and validate certain projects that we wish to work with and make sure there's construction going on, make sure there's financing already committed into the project so that, we don't expect any delays, we don't expect any stalls or any holdups with the construction. Certain due diligences that one can only get to the site and understand. We like to meet the people. Our managing director and my father, Mr. Janak Mehta, always has a belief that we'd like to work with the people first and then the company or the project. So we always like to understand who the people are that we like to work with, and of course, build a trustful relationship with them. So those are the kind of elements that only a human can do, right? And when speaking about the difference of human and technology combining together, these are some qualities that only a human can kind of understand and get, I believe. So that's a little bit of due diligence that we do. We have an equities background, a little bit in the financial markets. So we try to understand capital stacks. We try to understand cap rates. We try to understand, what exactly is the skin in the game of the developer into the project, what the risk levels are, what the immigration risk levels are, although attorneys like yourself or splendid attorneys like yourself are much more qualified to advise on that. But this is just an overarching view that we provide to our investors.
That's awesome. And that's one thing that I have always noted and appreciated about you. We met in person. I think it was in Miami quite a while ago. We met more recently in New York. And that you and your father, Janak, made the point of visiting the project on site and really giving full weight to that qualitative human contact first and foremost, and judgment. And I think also that in your case, I think also relates to your clients. And I think when we last saw each other in New York, you were also making a tour of visiting your clients stateside in New York and maybe Boston as well. So very much appreciate that.
Great, thank you. We like to believe, and we tell our investors that we would not introduce a project to them until we have seen it first or until we have studied it first.
I think that's very important.
Yes, absolutely. And, the investor is far away from the US, right? At least when we talk about investors based in India or even the UAE, they're pretty far away. They're not going to be regular in the US to keep an update on them. And that's why we do it for them. That's our value add.
Yeah, I think that's tremendous. I really, really, really do. There's a lot that the papers can reveal and tell you, and you can't discount that. You've got to read the papers. But to know that somebody else, a representative on their behalf, has also actually put eyes on the project for them, if you will. I think that's tremendously valuable.
Absolutely. Our investors do like that we go to the site, we video call them from there, we send them live pictures from there. And, Carolyn, we don't only do it for new projects, even projects that we have existing investors in. We like to go to the site, take pictures of the current situation that the project is in, whether it's built, whether it's occupied. We like to go inside. If it's a hotel or a restaurant, we like to have a meal there, just to give the investor some kind of a live human update on it, right? Based off not just an investor report that is sent to them, but just something that someone's actually gone there.
And I love that so much. I really do. It's the old school way of doing business, right? It's
absolutely
seeing people, it's touching, it's smelling, it's being in the space. There's just there's no substitute for it.
Absolutely.
I am finding, though, because we're, I think this conversation about technology and AI has really got to be a conversation about the blend of the two, the human element and the technology element and blending the two. I have found that with just in the wake of the pandemic and everything, I'm super choosy about travel and I just feel like the fuel and the ecological impacts. I'm much more sensitive to things like that than I was before. Um, has your view on that aspect that I've touted so much? I think it's so important, but I also think I'm not jetting off thither and yon like maybe I used to. What's your feeling about that? Are there some principles that also govern what you do in terms of that, checking off those human diligence factors?
So, Carolyn, I to some extent, we're not jetting off every month somewhere or the other to explore. We kind of gather a whole bunch of items to do in each country, and then we kind of set off. We try to combine it with other items on our checklist for not only one program but other programs as well. So we like to combine our trip or in one single trip rather, and make that trip to understand and to look at these projects and to analyze them for our investors. Otherwise we'd be in the US every month. Now we are pretty much there once in 3 to 4 months. We were there. Yes, we did make a trip during COVID as well with our masks on a 14-hour flight. But we had to do it for our investors, right?
Yeah. I think that's when I one of the times I saw you was
Yes.
during that period.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else are we missing? And is it too early to talk about, and kind of pivoting back to the technology end of things? So certainly the government can implement more in the AI, and I want to talk about President Biden's recent executive order from October of 2023 that is really a call for leveling up and putting central focus on the development of AI for efficient government processing, and also to protect privacy, which is very important. So certainly the agencies can implement these innovations to make their processes more efficient. And yes, generally we can bring in these tools in our workflows to make them more efficient and organized. Are you seeing some specific applications are you seeing specific applications, and what about some dream applications? What would, if we could ask OpenAI to design for what you do, the perfect AI tool, what would that look like?
Well, that's a great question. I would probably set up two kinds of tools. One is for the investor and one is for the regional center, right? Because we work with, of course, both of them. The investor one would obviously be more centric on the project that they're going to invest in, the risk appetite that the investor has, the current situation that they are in. I'd kind of put such filters in there. Whereas from the project side, I'd probably put in filters on track record of the regional center, on the success ratio of the project in the future based on the past history. Of course, past performance is not a guarantee, but it gives some indication. A little bit more about the developer that's putting in its own money into the project. Things like that. I'd like to include more of the due diligence aspect into this kind of a tool. We have something like this on our website as well, where this is again from the investor specific point, where you just key in your criteria and 1 or 2 options pop up for the best investment migration program that would suit your fit, right? That would fit your needs. Something like that, right? But maybe a little more advanced, of course.
That's very cool because it sounds like what you're envisioning or talking about is a tool that kind of it replicates an investor's risk appetite in just any other kind of investment product, right? So, if I tell my, financial advisor, you know what, I think we're kind of feeling more conservative, then they can kind of develop a product portfolio that's suitable for that kind of, those criteria. So it sounds like that's what you're envisioning.
And maybe match it to projects that would meet that criteria as well.
Yeah, I think
Right.
that would be tremendous. Like
Yeah.
a platform that kind of matches the investor's profile and their tolerance for risk, and maybe other filters, as you say, to what the regional centers are offering. Now, I can see a situation where, we're there. We could say, we can check a lot of boxes in our favor. But maybe that's where the human element would come in. Or maybe it would be a matter of designing ever more refined filters so that you kind of get beyond just the sort of yes, we have a wonderful track record, and, yes, the developer is great, and, all of that, kind of getting deeper into
Well,
it.
there would have to be a certain weightage given to each criteria, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise an investor is always going to choose the safest option, the quickest option, and the cheapest option.
Exactly.
And that's not always going to be the best fit for the investor. So we'd probably have to give some kind of weightage to each and every criteria and have
Mm-hmm.
the tool design or advise or analyze which project, which country would suit that investor the best. And of
I
course,
think
this is where the human element would come in, where, as your proofreader, the human element would come in and see whether it's actually a viable fit and advise the investor accordingly.
yes. I am not seeing a real substitute yet for humans. Although, I think it's we're not quite there, but there is a lot of efficiency that we can extract from these tools.
I
Uh,
think it's more of a helpful tool than a replacement tool.
yeah.
I think it's
I
more
agree.
of a advisory guide, so to speak. Um, the human element, if you ask me, will always remain. These are investments that are personal to people. It's their hard-earned life savings in some cases. So there will always be that human element.
And I also think, we're kind of pressed to, there will always be the human element, but I also think that the challenge is on to prove our value. Because, if AI can do what I can do and it takes me 30 minutes, I shouldn't do it. And it takes AI 5 minutes, then, I absolutely should not do it. And I should have the AI do it. And, then it challenges us to bump and to be really thinking about, well, where is it where I am adding that qualitative value? I, I, I think that, to me, the most exciting challenge and the opportunity with these tools is to ask ourselves those kinds of questions. How can we use these tools not to just churn and burn? No, but how can we use these tools to do what we do even better? How can we use these tools so that, what took us so long to like craft that beautiful work product, it takes a little less to do. And then what can we add on top of it so that it's even better? We take that saving, and we make it
Absolutely.
nicer. So maybe it's we've got some thankfully incredible founders of these technologies that seem to really take on the seriousness and the responsibility that they have with a lot of respect. And that's really inspirational. I think it translates down to us.
Yep.
Let's talk about President Biden's EO. This was really exciting. So I'm gonna just click to it, get to it, and maybe I could even do a little screen share. Just give me 1 second. All right. Cool. So I am gonna, why not do a little screen share? Just have to be super careful. Cool. All right. It's coming up. Yeah, so it's this. President Biden issued a landmark executive order on October 30th. We'll send links to this to folks afterwards. And it starts with new standards for AI safety, which is, topmost critical. And when you scroll down, it talks about supporting workers, promoting innovation and competition. And this is the part that's of interest, right? And so we're going to advance American AI leadership. We're going to look at this. This is what really caught my eye. Accelerate the rapid hiring of AI professionals as part of a government-wide AI talent surge led by the Office of Personnel Management, U.S. Digital Service, U.S. Digital Corps, and Presidential Innovation Fellowship agencies will provide AI training for employees at all levels in relevant fields. So this is obviously referring to within the government itself, but clearly what this is signaling is we need to be leaders in this important, wave of human evolution. And I think this is the way for this is another opportunity of expanding investment immigration. We don't have it yet, but could we envision a new visa category? Could we envision in EB-5 a new set aside? The infrastructure set aside, it's novel, it's fantastic that way. It's legislators thinking outside the box beyond the existing rubric of high unemployment and rural. Could we create a set aside for AI or tech professionals in furtherance of the executive order? What do you think that would look like?
Well, I think that would be a great idea. But I also think it would, sorry to speak a little negatively, but I also think
I want to hear it.
It would get a little backlash for favoring certain kind of professions one over the other. That is, I believe that could be a possibility. I don't know your opinion on it, but I would see that to be a hindrance to that. However, I think it's a terrific idea. I think a lot of individuals, especially in the tech space, which is, let's be honest, a lot of our EB-5 investors would greatly benefit from this. This takes me back to the the expedite, right? The expedite criteria, where only certain individuals that met that criteria, even though the project had an expedite approval, only certain individuals that had a specific criteria, whether it was humanitarian ground, whether they were medical aides or doctors or nurses or government officials, whatever it may be, or diplomats, whatever it may be, only those cases could get expedited. Maybe if they added AI into that would really change the game, and individuals could be, would be able to apply for an expedite processing rather than having a set aside to themselves.
I love
what
it.
would you say to that?
I like that idea very, very much. I mean, what we're talking about is, are there enhancements in furtherance of the executive order that could help tech workers? Because right now they're all judged into that ginormous century-long I-140 EB-2 backlog.
Yep.
That's not working. And we kind of have those tech worker refugees in EB-5. Thank God that we have that, and very, very welcome, arms wide open. And if we could like open that avenue a little bit more even, I think that there is tremendous opportunity that serves everybody.
Absolutely. I've been always thinking, off late, there have been multiple articles in the news with Amazon and Google laying off a lot of tech employees. This may be a solution for them, given that they may get there.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
I think this is a window.
yeah. Well, great. We got to get to it.
Let's crack on. You and me, Jay.
Absolutely.
You're the top 25 CEO. You know how to get things done. I've got some good ideas. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Jay, thank you so much. This is it's like 1 a.m. your time. It's absurd, and you've been so gracious. It's lovely to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Carolyn.
And I think this is going to be just a part of a long line in a continuing conversation about this important topic.
Absolutely.
I'm going to share with folks our QR code for our WhatsApp group chat that is formed for the EB-5 investor community. We're thrilled to announce the launch of a new communication channel on WhatsApp. Speaking of tech innovations, our investment immigration community, a platform that will offer you instant access to important EB-5, E2, and IER updates and comprehensive insights. To join, scan the QR code. This will be in our little package sent to investors and folks who've registered for the webinar as well. And I love the idea of, I've always loved the idea of conversations and being a resource for each other and a place to ask questions. And there are quite a few of these wonderful communities and threads already out there, and just offering ours in the mix. Jay, thank you once again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Go to bed, sleep tight.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we'll talk soon. Bye.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Talk next time. Bye-bye.